Hi everyone, welcome back to Mechtip channel. ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಾಗರ್. In last session we discussed about structured query language. In that session we discussed the definition of structured query language and also the different kinds of statements in that. So today's session belongs to DDL statement or DDL command. Here DDL means data definition language. So using these kinds of statements we are going to create some tables here. Okay, how to create tables using DDL statements or DDL commands, I am going to explain about that one. So for creating any kind of tables you must write some syntaxes there using structured query languages. So for creating tables we can use both uppercase and lowercase. In those two you can use any one of cases. Okay, so here I am writing create table. So in front of that write table name. Okay, write or type create table, in front of that write table name, and afterwards you write the attribute names. So here the attribute is nothing but the name of that columns. Here roll number, name, address, marks and grades, all these are comes under attributes. So next one, type of data. Write what data you want to insert in this columns. So here it is data type, and then size and constraints. So here these two are written in the brackets. So these are the optional statements. If you want these size and constraints, you can write the size of data and constraints of data. So if you want to skip this, you can skip these steps. So now come to attribute name, data type, size and constraints. Here I am going to create one table. Example, I am showing here one table is there. The name of that table is student. So how to create that one? Here write create table, and the name of that table I mentioned here student. So name of this table is student, and then write attribute name. In the statements you must write the attribute name, means the name of columns. Here roll number is the name of that column, and then what you want to fill in that roll number, I am going to fill integers up to 2. So integers are nothing but write 1 to 99 numbers. So here I mentioned 2, hence I can write here 1 to 99 numbers. If you want to change it, you can make change here. Okay, next come to next attribute is name. Next column name is name, and there I am going to write data type is characters. So I am going to write, or you want to write any characters here, you must mention character and the length of the character here 35. So basically in character commands we can use up to 255 length characters. If you want more than that, so we can use varchar. So here in address columns or in address attribute I am going to use varchar. So in varchar we can create or we can type more than 255 characters easily. Okay, then we can use varchar statements. So next come to marks attribute. Here marks is the attribute name, and then in that marks column we are going to mention some decimals or in the form of numbers. So I want 3 digits number, in front of that 2 decimals I want, hence I mentioned here in front of the marks decimals 3, 2. So next make comma for every parameters, and the last one is the grade. In this table last column is grade, the name of the attribute is grade, and the next I want, or if you want to write characters in that, you just mention character char, in that bracket write the character's length. So here I mentioned 2, it means you can write A1, A2, B1, B2. If you want more than that, you can write here 3, 4, 5 like that. If you want single digit, you write 1 in that. So then these are the way of creating table attributes. Okay, after completion of this attribute or statements, you close this bracket or curly bracket and use semicolon for the terminating or ending of the statements. So now we discuss about constraints. What it means? Here I am not going to mention any constraints in this statements. I am just mentioned attributes name, data type and size. Here this is the attribute name, data type and size. But here I am not going to mention any constraints here. So we discuss that one here only. So what it means? Constraints are the conditions when we are going to create some tables. So some conditions are applied to that tables. So in that case we use not null, unique, check, default, primary keys, etc. and also foreign. So these kinds of constraints are used. For example, here take not null. If you don't want to skip or if you don't want to leave blank columns, then use not null constraints. For example, I am going to write not null in the roll number attribute, not null, and make column comma. So here when roll number is empty, so when the roll number is not available but roll number integer, I am going to mention on constraint not null. So because of this constraint the table is going to be filled default. Okay, then we used not null. And next come to unique. Unique is nothing but here I am going to mention in front of name character. So in this column I am going to mention unique constraint. So unique is nothing but it is not allowed to enter any duplicate values. So it rejects the duplicate values. Unique is nothing but creating only one type of name here. So it is not able to do any uniques or not able to do any duplicates here. Okay, and next come to check, default and primary. Check is nothing but I am going to mention check in the marks attributes. So it checks the correct manner of marks, either it is correct or not. So you can mention check, in front of that you can write the marks less than 100 or less than 101. So here this constraint checks the marks whether the marks are under 100 or not, like that. So come to default one. Here I am not going to mention any grades. I want the default grades. Then you use in front of grade, write default grade and 2 digits default. So default I am mentioned that default value here e in the single quote. Okay, I want this value or I want this character in a single quote. So here use default value. So write what you want default value. So I am going to write for example e here. So it fills automatically e for every mentioning tables, for every entries. So these kinds of constraints are used during the creation of tables. Okay, next part of this DDL statements, drop table. So here drop table is nothing but deleting of this entire table. If you want to delete table from the database, just use drop table command. So for example, drop table and table name. So here I am mentioning drop table and student. Here the student is nothing but this is the table called student table. This table is going to be deleted here when we are mentioned drop table constraint or drop table statements. Okay, this is how the table can be deleted easily. And next come to alter table. If you want to modify, if you want to delete or if you want to any columns adding, so then we use the statements in the statements alter table. So here I am having one example here, add column. I need one column in front of this grade called section. So how to add in that languages? So just write in the statement alter table and the name of the table and add column name and database. Here how to write alter table. So I need to change the table name called student, add section. So I am going to add one more column called name section. So in that section characters I want 1. Here I am adding one more column called section. So in this column I need one character data. So for example B, C, A, like this. So I am going to add like this. Okay, if you want to add any columns or rows, you just use alter table. And if you want to delete or if you want to modify, just use the alter table also. So then last come to rename. If you want to change the name of this table, then use the command, use the statement rename and write the name of the table to what name you want today. So I am going to change this student to today as the table name here. So this is how the rename can be changed from student to today here. So this is about how to write the statements using DDL commands. Okay, thanks for watching.